on how to be practically involved in politics to avoid pitfalls. So in that text that we read, once again, that's 2 Samuel 23, 1-4, we saw it there that when David was about to depart to eternity, he gave the following instructions to those who were aspiring to take over. He said, whoever that must be a ruler, such fellow must be just. He must rule with the fear of God. He must be like the light of the morning when the sun rises. And the New King James Version describes this verse 4, that he who is a ruler must be like a morning without clouds, like the tender grass springing up out of the earth by clear shining after rain. This is being concluded as that a ruler must be upright. He must be without blemish. So we have two lesson outlines. Lesson outline 1 is how to be involved in politics. We shall be looking at how children of God can be involved in politics. And lesson outline 2, in that lesson outline we shall be looking at what we should watch for to avoid pitfalls in politics. So lesson outline 1, how to be involved in politics. How can we get involved in politics? It is your civic right and responsibility under the law to vote and be voted for. Titus 3 verse 1 says, put them in mind to be subject to principalities and powers, to obey magistrates, and to be ready to every good work. This Bible passage is telling us that we should be subject to principalities and powers and obey magistrates, and we must be ready to do every good work. Ruling is one of the good works. 1 Peter 2, 13-14. 1 Peter 2, 13-14 is admonishing us to submit ourselves to every ordinance of man for God's sake, and unto our governors, because unto them that are sent by him for punishment of evildoers and for the praise of them that do well. God has put governors, God has put rulers in charge, and so we are subject to them. And this is another reason why the children of God should be in charge. How can we be involved in politics as children of God? Eligible Christians should get registered with relevant electoral bodies. We must get registered. We must be card-carrying members of any political parties of our choice. And we must weigh our influence on the choice of representatives for the elective positions. If we are not going to vie for positions ourselves, we should be able to influence the choice of upright candidates into power. Exodus 18:21 says, moreover, thou shalt provide out of all the people able men, such as fear God, men of truth, hating covetousness, and place such over them to rule over thousands, to rule over hundreds, to rule over 50s, and to rule over 10s. So Moses is being advised here that he should get people that are upright, that are forthright, to be in charge of the people, so that they will be able to rule and reign uprightly. So how can Christians be involved in politics? Another point is that we should go out and vote. We should go out and vote, and when we go out to vote, we should vote rightly during elections. We should vote for the right people during elections. So how can we? Another way is that we are expected to join political party of our choice. Christians should join political parties of their choice. And in addition to joining political parties, and in addition to voting and being voted for, there are other things that Christians must be aware of. Number one is that there is necessity to get information about political parties even before you join as a child of God. You are expected to visit the website of the parties and to see which one has the ideology that goes with the dictates of Jesus Christ. You are to visit the secretariat of your chosen party physically, and you are to register. You are expected to study the party's ideology, like I said earlier on, and the manifesto. You are to fill out a party registration form and to submit same. You are expected to supply all necessary documents as may be required by the party secretariat. You are expected to make necessary payments as stipulated. You are expected to obtain your membership card, and you are expected to be attending meetings, party meetings, regularly. And as a child of God, you are expected to have burden or passion to serve the people and to solve their problems. In Nehemiah 2, verse 1 through to 5, Nehemiah 2, verse 1 to 5, we see in this passage that when Nehemiah heard that the wall of Jerusalem lay in ruins, that the gate is burnt, and that the Jewish survivors, they are living in distress and reproach, what did he do? First, he fasted. He was sorrowful. Nehemiah cried and fasted. Secondly, he requested of the king, because he was so gracious to have access to the king. The king asked him by himself, what do you want to be done? So he prayerfully asked for the leading of the Holy Spirit, and he requested to be sent to Judah to repair the damages that have been there over the years. And in service, he also prayed. He requested for the leading of the Holy Spirit. In service, leaders are expected to pray. Leaders are expected to be visionary, like Nehemiah. Nehemiah had visions for the fulfillment of the assignments. And also he acted. Nehemiah acted as a catalyst because of his passion backed by prayers. He sought God's help and he got it. Also, why should a leader pray? In 1 Samuel 17, 29 and 34 to 37, we see this account of David when he was facing Goliath. He came to Goliath with the name of the Lord of hosts. Because some of the times, or even most of the time, the weapon of our warfare are not carnal. Weapons of our warfare are not carnal. And this is why we should not forsake the place of prayer when we are leading. And also, in order to succeed in politics, Christians or politicians are expected to read books, and they are expected to attend seminars, conferences, and leadership trainings. We are expected to attend leadership trainings so that we'll be able to acquire knowledge. Proverbs 16 verse 16. Proverbs 16 verse 16 says, how much better is it to get wisdom than gold, and to get understanding rather than to be choosing than silver. Understanding rather to be choosing than silver. It is also important to be mentored by a seasoned Christian political leader. As somebody aspiring to take position, we are expected to look for mentors We are expected to ask them questions, especially those that have succeeded in ruling. We should go to them, we should ask questions. We should ask for their leading, in addition to asking for the leading of the Holy Spirit. Also, you can prayerfully join or support advocacy group. Even if you don't have the intention of contesting for any post, ask prayerfully and join and support advocacy group like Esther did. Esther prayerfully supported her people by putting her life in the line. We find this in Esther 4:8 and 13 to 14. Esther 4 verse 8 and 13 to 14. Esther put her life on the line, and he prayed. She prayed. She asked people to fast and pray with her. And at the end of the day, the whole nation was spared. So we need to stand in the gap for our people as children of God in power. Children of God can also form political parties with the people of like minds. With the people of like minds. In 1 Samuel 22 verse 2. 1 Samuel 22 verse 2. We read there that, and everyone who was in distress, everyone who was in debt, and everyone who was discontented, they gathered themselves to David. And so he became captain over them, and there were about 400 of them with him. And what happened? We see that David groomed these people, and they became valiant men. They became strong warriors. They became strong warriors. So, having talked about what we should do as Christians to be in power or to advocate, there are things in our second outline that have been listed that we should watch out for in politics to avoid pitfall. To avoid pitfall in politics, we must desist from any thought or act of wickedness. We must desist from any thought or act of wickedness. Politics is not a do or die affair. So we should run whenever we see that the terrain is deadly. We should not join others to do evil. Proverbs 16 verse 12. Proverbs 16 verse 12 says, it is an abomination to kings to commit wickedness, for the throne is established by righteousness. Throne is established by righteousness, and it is an abomination for kings to commit wickedness. We should not join others to commit wickedness. Also, to avoid pitfalls, Christians in politics must be prayerful. We must avoid prayerlessness. We must avoid prayerlessness. James 5:16b to 18. James 5:16b to 18 admonish us that we should confess our faults one to another, and we should pray for one another that we may be healed, and that the eventual fervent prayer of a righteous man availeth much. We should be prayerful. And verse 17 of that James 5 says that Elias was a man subject to like passion as we are, and he prayed earnestly that it might not rain, and it rained not on earth by the space of 3 years and 6 months. And he prayed again, verse 18, and the heaven gave rain, and the earth brought her fruits. Psalm 91 verse 15. Psalm 91 verse 15 says, we shall call upon him, and he will answer. And I will be with him in trouble, and I will deliver him and honor him. That is, whenever we call upon our God, he will answer us. He said he will be with us, and he will deliver us in trouble. Whenever anyone in power is insinuating any issue, you should run quickly to God. God has promised to listen to us. Jeremiah 33:3 says, call upon me and I will answer you and show you great and mighty things that you do not know. We need direction. As a leader, please run to our Maker. He's ready to